Hi everybody, and welcome to this video on using the Scissor tool in Notability. So let's go ahead and hop into Notability. I'm going to use a final exam review guide for an example today. So suppose that I'm working on a math problem and I make it through half of the problem before I realize that my handwriting is a little bit too large. So let me get started. So I've made it halfway through this math problem, and as you can see, my handwriting has been way too large. It's taken up too much space. There's no way I'm going to be able to finish the second half of this problem without running onto the other side of the page. I'm not even going to be able to graph. It's just too large. So this is a time when the Scissor tool might be really helpful. So here's the Scissor tool in the upper right, and one note that I want to make is that the Scissor tool works only with strokes you make through the pen feature and through the highlighter feature. It is not going to work on images. You'd have to move, resize, and edit images in the ways that we discussed earlier. So how does the Scissor tool work? If I want to edit some writing that I've done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of lasso that writing with the Scissor tool. So I'm going to use it and I'm going to drag it all the way around all of this writing. And when that happens, you can see this kind of highlighted dashed line around the whole thing. And that tells you, okay, we've selected this text. Now what can I do with this text? I can, for instance, move it. If I place my cursor on that area and move it left or right, I can move this text to a different part of the screen. So that's really helpful in case you write it one place and like to move it elsewhere. But another great option is you have the ability to resize and rotate this text. So if I use two fingers now to pinch on this, I'm going to pinch in, you see that I can make the entire thing smaller. I mean, I could rotate it too if I wanted to, but I don't in this case. Oops, excuse me. Relasso it. I can resize it and say I want to make it that large. And now it's appropriately sized. I'm ready to go ahead and do the second part of the problem. In order to stop kind of resizing it, you can just press your stylus or finger anywhere on the screen other than that blue circled part. And now it is no longer selecting that, and I'm ready to go ahead and do the second part of the problem. Of course, too large again, so I'm going to use the Scissor tool to go ahead and lasso this, and I'm going to pinch in to make it smaller. And now we've got an appropriately sized text on our page. Some other things you can do is you can copy and paste things that you draw with the pen tool. So suppose that you've got a drawing that you would like to make copies of. Well, you can go ahead and lasso it. And now that you've lassoed it, you are going to press once somewhere in that blue circle that you just made, and it's going to give you the options for what to do. You can change, for instance, I'm going to kind of go off course here for a second. You can change the style of what you've drawn. So if I press style, you can change the thickness of the pen. So you can make the pen thicker, thicker, thicker. You can make the pen very thin. You can also adjust the color. You can make it blue or brown or hot pink. So I'm going to do hot pink and I'm going to do that thickness. And I click away. If I click again right on that blue circle, I also have the option to, of course, delete, but I love the copy option. So if I press copy, now that image is copied. And if I take the scissors and I simply press once somewhere on the screen, it gives me the option to paste, and now I've got another one. Already pre-selected, I can move it around, I can resize it by making it bigger or smaller, I can also turn it and rotate it as I would like. So those are some of the features, or rather all of the features of the Scissor tool, and just one note that works only with pen strokes and with highlight strokes.